Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today we are going to be unboxing and taking a look at the Goliath from StarCraft, the miniatures game from Archon. This one I was able to pick up at Adepticon. So early access, if you pre-ordered, you might not have these yet, but this is going to give you an idea of what comes in the box. Now, there is only one miniature in here. I'll give you guys a little bit of a look at the back of the box. We're going to show you guys the cards that come in here as well as the model itself, and we're going to build it so you can see what it looks like fully assembled. If you like what you see here and want to see more, I've got lots more StarCraft videos. Check them out. Also consider subscribing. We're going to be announcing the winners of the latest giveaway here pretty soon for the $25 Amazon gift card. So you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my other videos. I typically announce winners towards the end. So watch all the way to the end, see if you won. That won't be in this video, but that'll be in an upcoming video. It'll be very soon. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get this box open. All right, so while I am getting this open, I also invite you to check out all of the discount codes that we have in the video description, where you can save on mats and accessories over at Game Toppers with code Crabbok15, or check out some of the awesome Magna Racks and Battle Foam stuff over at Battle Foam with the discount code Crabbok VIP. Save 15% with each of those codes. So links are going to be in the video description below. All right, so we've got this one now open. Here's a closer look. There is also a QR code for the game rules and manual, which is pretty cool. And we've got some optional clear plastic parts. It looks like you'll be able to build it like this, or also with the explodey bits in there as well. I do recommend, if you're going to put the explodey bits on, maybe put those on after the fact. This is a game where you may want to consider priming while it's still on the sprue. So this way you can keep your other bits separate. Okay, well, that's everything that's in the box. So we have, first off, we have our clear plastic sprue, and I like how they keep these color-coded. All of the Terran bits are gonna have this kind of shiny blue plastic, and then they're two-tone. Like every faction has kind of a two-tone, and for these guys, it's going to be the orange clear plastic, which again does still glue with the same materials. The same plastic cement will work, or you can use PVA glue in some cases if you're just trying to get it to where it doesn't even barely touch, but I have no problems using, Tamiya Ultra Thin with them. We've got one sprue right here, but then the bulk of it is on this one here. We can see the cockpit right there. And of course, this part is going to go in there within the cockpit. And this is one of the reasons why, if you are considering painting this and want to keep those clear plastic pieces intact, you may want to prime and do all of this stuff while it's still on the sprue. Like we've got our driver in there, which you would be able to potentially see through the clear plastic. However, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fully assemble it so you can see how it looks, and then I'll prime it some point after the fact. But yeah, we've got a lot of cool bits on here. So this part probably isn't even going to be visible for me once the model's painted, but that's okay. That's how I'm doing this one, and it makes it easier for me to show you how it looks. Otherwise, you'd have to wait for me to prime the whole thing, and it might not, I might not prime it the same way as you do. I wanted to give you guys a better look at how it actually is going to look. Let's look at these cards. All right, so here is our Goliath card. He's speed 7, 4-up armor save, 10 hit points, no evade, of course. He is a size 3, which does mean he's going to be able to shoot over a lot of that size 2 terrain, shoot over some of the smaller walls and things like that, which I think is going to give him a really interesting ability. I think his use on the battlefield will that allow him to kind of stand behind some pieces of terrain, shooting over, keeping like Zergling swarms and stuff like that from being able to charge him quite as easily, and doing cool things like that. He is armored, mechanical, and ground. Here's all of his abilities. We are going to flip over the card so you can see the other side as well. There we go. So you can see his scatter missiles and his haywire missiles here, and all of the rest of his stats. There we go. He also comes with a factory and an armory. So we're going to take a look at both of those cards. There we go. So for 1 elite or for 2x elite. And then we'll flip these over and get a look at our abilities on there. So, of course, we can use those for the CP whenever we want. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the model itself. As I'm going through the model, I do want to point one thing out about the rules book that comes in here. It's nice because it does give you, for one, I do like having printed instructions with my models, especially for these because these are kind of complex. So it really helps to have a guide to follow. But I want to point out that we do have some optional assembly on here, specifically for parts 9 and 10. We can kind of choose how we want these legs, if we want it to be lower or higher. It looks like you can have it kind of crouching down at a medium pace or kind of standing up a little bit taller. I kind of like the idea of maybe it's standing up a little bit taller, but I'm going to dry fit these as I go through and kind of figure out what I think looks good. They're kind of telling you to go with the medium one for the default setup. I may do that since this is my first Goliath, and I may want to have one that is just built to the expected standard. But on top of that, we also have optional assembly for how we want the main guns to go on. Do we want it to basically be pointed up, straight ahead, or downwards? I think I'll go straight ahead with this one. And then here are our optional bits. While I am going to put, of course, the glass part inside, I am not going to affix all of these optional bits, but I'll show them to you. But you can kind of see how it's going to look right here, right? So I'm not going to put those on there because I think these parts will be done after the painting. So this way I can prime these and paint those separately. So one interesting thing, I'm mid-assembly right now. And so far it's going together pretty easily. But when it comes to the cockpit, there may be a solution for people who do want to keep the orange exactly as is, because this top part, you don't actually have to glue down right away. You can put everything else for the cockpit to assemble. And then I could put this on here like so, or even prime this separately and build it out so that this guy is showing, which I may do. Because even though I may not keep this orange, I may still want to do this separately with like a fade or a gradient or something like that, and then put this on into here once this is then painted, and just to make it be cleaner and easier to do, and then put the whole thing on last, because everything else, like all the side guns, are going to glue in right here, which is part of the side, and then the legs are going to attach right here. So this whole cockpit piece is done at this point, and you can totally do a sub-assembly right here. So this is a cool option if you're thinking about trying to, paint this in different pieces. A couple of things I'm running into during assembly. One thing is a reminder on step 7 and 8. Do not glue these pieces for step 8 because it says not to. So this way they can move a little bit. But this one where it says part 20, at least on my sprue, that is clearly part 2 and not part 20. So that's one thing you might want to make sure you check out. Always dry fit things first, but it's definitely that part. Similar situation with the legs here. They have 3 going into 11, and they have 6 going into 12, but 6 has got the connector that fits into 11, and 3 has the connector that fits into 12. So 3 and 6 should be flip-flopped. 6 should be part of step 9, and then 3 should be the part of step 10. So like little things like that. Again, this is why you always dry fit first. All right, so I've kind of got the legs assembled now to this base piece. And remember I said we don't want to glue this one piece, and there's a reason for that, which I'm now discovering. And this is primarily so this way you can kind of have the legs and the feet go into whatever kind of pose you want. You see, this is basically going to go on top here, but we can set the legs up in a variety of poses. We can be kind of leaning more forward, backwards. We can kind of go this. We can kind of go like that. So you have a lot of real customizability with how you want this guy to stand. And if you want him kind of braced for everything, or if you want him marching straight forward, you can do that. You can swivel the feet in because there are ball joints on these. So you got a lot of flexibility on this. And so I like that. I like that a lot. That's going to be fun. All right, so here is our Goliath fully assembled. He is gorgeous. I decided to put the side guns on in the forward-facing pose, although you do have options to kind of angle them in different directions as well. There is a lot of customizability with this model. He is really gorgeous. I'm very happy with him. And of course, we can put some of the effects on him if we want. I definitely think you need to consider priming this clear plastic and maybe painting it separately because of the fact that it's not just the fire effects, but there are also missiles attached to these blast effects. And the missiles, if the missiles were fully orange, it might not look right. So you need to consider possibly painting some of those as well. I think that's a very good option. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna take a look at this after, priming and everything. I'll have the ability to make the decision what I want to do with these, and I like having time to decide. I love having options, and I love that Archon has given us some really cool options with all of these models, but especially the Goliath here. As far as size comparison, you can see how he kind of towers over the other Terrans. He's definitely the biggest model we have so far, but it does look like there's bigger models coming with siege tanks kind of just over the horizon. There's been some spoilers out there if you've been eagle-eyed as well. Hopefully we'll be getting more about those soon as well. So if you want to see more, hopefully you found this video helpful. If these building tips you thought were helpful, maybe bookmark this video for when you get your Goliath and share this with your friends, so to hopefully save some people some options, or give some people some different options as well. Because of course now, before I prime this, I can now take this part off, pull this part out, put this part back on. I can do my painting and sub-assembly, and I can put this part back on when I'm all done. So I have a lot of options there. And I think you can do the same thing with your Goliath. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. We'll talk to you later. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all. And always wash your socks.